Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mallory and I am a new mom to this little guy named Max, a military wife and a registered nurse. And this video is Max's 3-month update. Before we get into the video, make sure to hit the subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber. I really appreciate when you guys do that and join my YouTube family. So let's get into his update. So just for a little bit of context, Max was born on January 8th, 2020, and I am filming this video. It is his 3-month update, like I said, but I'm filming it on Thursday, April 16th. So he turned 3 months a week ago yesterday. So the first thing that we talk about in these updates, I try to keep them pretty cohesive. And the first thing, he's a little cranky right now. He just ate, but I think maybe he's having some tummy issues. So the first category that we always do is medical and medical and health. And I really don't have much to report on as far as medical stuff goes because of this COVID-19 coronavirus thing. I canceled his 3-month appointment. So we haven't seen the doctor since his 2-month checkup in early March. But I did just weigh him using the scale in our bathroom. So I weighed myself without him and then I picked him up and weighed us together. And the difference was 11.4 pounds. And I believe at his 2-month appointment, he was 10 pounds, 6 ounces. So he's gained roughly a pound in 1 month. So that's pretty good. I was guessing that he was over 11 pounds. And also because of the coronavirus, we also have not seen the chiropractor for the past month because even though they are open, they're considered an essential medical facility, unless I'm really, really hurting, I just don't, or unless he's having a real big issue, I just didn't want to expose him to anything, even though they are taking precautions. It's just, I don't know, I just don't want to take that risk at this point. I guess the only issue that he has had is I started noticing, sorry, I'm looking at my notes. I forget exactly when I started noticing it, but it was sometime in mid-March. I started noticing that he was having this red scaly rash, really dry skin on all 4 of his limbs, his both legs and both arms. And I asked my aunt, who's a doctor, and she said that it sounds like atopic dermatitis. Of course, I didn't have a doctor actually look at it, but from the description she said, and the picture, she said it sounded like atopic dermatitis. And she suggested cutting out dairy, which my mom also suggested that because it can, if your baby is sensitive, it can comes out through the breast milk and it can affect them, and skin issues is one way it can be affected. So I cut out dairy on March 19th, and within 2 days, I started seeing his rash start going away. And now it's mostly gone. So it's almost a month later and it's pretty much gone. So that's pretty amazing. So I really miss my yogurt in the mornings. That was the main source of dairy that I ate. And I really miss that, but hopefully one day I can go back to it. But for now, I don't want him to be suffering with a rash because of what I'm eating. Oh, another indication that I know he's growing, even though he hasn't been to the doctor, is that he's starting to grow out of certain clothes and grow into others. Some 0 to 3 month clothing is getting too small on him, and he's really fitting into 3-month clothing really well, and some 3 to 6 month clothing. So it just depends on the brand, because some brands 3 to 6 month still looks huge. So it depends on the brand. All right, let's do his developmental milestones. So I broke this down into gross motor skills, fine motor skills, verbal skills, and miscellaneous. So his gross motor skills, he rolled over the first time, and that was in week 11. So before he turned 12 weeks, or no, before he turned 11 weeks. So between week 10 and 11, he rolled over from his tummy to his back. He did it twice, in 2 times in a row, and he actually kind of scared himself that second time he did it. So he started doing that. That was a pretty big deal. He also began lifting his head at a 45-degree angle, so lifting it up pretty far and looking around, looking forward and looking to the sides. And he can also scoot on his Are you trying to contribute too? He likes interrupting me. He's gonna be a talker, I think. He can also scoot on his stomach to a perpendicular position. So if I put him one way, then he can scoot to be perpendicular to that position I originally put him in. Also, he began like pulling his knees up on his back. Well, he began pulling his knees up to his chest and like touching his knees. I'm not 100% sure if that's intentional or not, like if he's intentionally touching his knees, but he was doing that. And then fine motor skills. He has begun rudimentary grabbing at things. So he'll grab at high contrast objects or things, you know, like brightly colored things, but he's not really grasping. Like he'll kind of paw, it's more like pawing at it, but he's not like doing an actual grasping yet. Like he'll kind of make like that kind of motion. So he's not really intentionally grabbing toys yet, but I'm sure that's coming next. Okay, I'm having to sit on the edge of my chair to kind of bounce him. He's also very interested in his hands and fingers. So sometimes he'll be lying in his bassinet in the mornings and he'll be just like playing with his hands and his fingers and looking at them and just kind of moving them. And so that's definitely fine motor skills right there. And then his verbal skills, he has become more and more vocal, as you guys can hear. He likes interrupting me. I guess he's trying to imitate my voice when I'm talking a lot. And he verbalizes some vowel sounds like gee and goo. So like a G sound. Sometimes he's done a D consonant sound too, but mostly it's gee and goo. He also will sometimes talk back, like when we're doing reading time, like I try to read to him every single day. And, you know, sometimes he'll babble back. Basically, whenever I'm talking, he will talk back. And then some other miscellaneous developmental things is his startle reflex, also known as the Moro reflex, is mostly gone. Like he'll get startled sometimes, but it's not there very much. And also he sometimes prefers sucking on his fingers instead of on the pacifier. Like when he inevitably spits his pacifier out when I put him down for a nap or at night, he will self-soothe with his fingers, and it's almost always his right hand, and then his left hand will be behind his head. So that's kind of like his soothing behavior. So that's really nice that he can like self-soothe himself like that. Okay, let's do the next category, which is firsts and new things. So there really wasn't many firsts. Like last month, or for his 2-month update, it was like first Valentine's Day, first St. Patrick's Day, like all these firsts. Or no, I guess this first St. Patrick's Day was technically for month 3. But anyway, so yeah, he had his first St. Patrick's Day. I guess you could say he has started sleeping through the night, because he is now regularly sleeping like at the minimum 6 hours at a time, but usually more than that. Like he can go like anywhere from 8 to 12 hours without eating. And even then, like he'll wake up in the morning and just be content playing with his hands. And so he's a really good sleeper. Last night wasn't as great of a night, but still it was pretty good considering his age. But yeah, he can easily go like an average of 8 to 9 hours, which is awesome. So I am definitely feeling more rested. I do have a sleep category, so if I forget anything, I'll talk more about sleep later. He is experiencing his first pandemic, like I mentioned, the COVID-19 coronavirus shelter in place for the past month. It's just crazy. And then he is enjoying the baby carrier a lot more. So we don't do it quite every day, but almost every day I carry him at some point in the tactical baby gear carrier. I showed him the garden outside for the first time, kind of walked around, and I told him this is lettuce and this is spinach and, you know, that kind of stuff. And then also I introduced him to the mirror for the first time, which is a Montessori thing. And because we're trying to implement Montessori principles into his life. And he really likes looking at the mirror, you know, looking, who's that baby, you know? And yeah, so he's doing that like when we have floor time. Okay, so the next category was sleep, but I basically talked a lot about it already. Starting around month 2, he was starting to get out of the swaddle regularly. And so I started not swaddling him intentionally. Like sometimes I would just do one arm, and now I'm just not doing his arms at all because he uses his arms and his hands to self-soothe. So I don't want to like prevent him from doing that. So he's doing fine without being swaddled. I was dreading it a little bit because I've heard how hard it can be to transition from swaddling, especially if your kid really likes it, to not being swaddled, but he has done fine. So I'm really thankful that we didn't have an issue with that. And that's pretty much it for Max. So I wanted to give a little quick postpartum update for myself because this is the end of the 4th trimester, as they call it. So obviously trimester means 3, but they call it the 4th trimester because, you know, you're really trying to recover from childbirth and just having carried a baby inside for 9 months and just getting used to that and whatever. So I'm pretty much back at my normal energy and activity. I did my first postpartum home workout once. But so obviously I have not been consistent, but lately I've been trying to go on longer walks and really walk quickly and get my heart rate up. And I also started doing some Kegel exercises, like pelvic floor exercises, to try to strengthen my core and kind of get that mom pooch down. It is going down. It's not as big as it used to be. Are you choking yourself? But it's still there, you know, so, and plus like doing Kegels and pelvic floor exercises, it's more than just like how you look, it's about actually having core strength. So I've been doing that semi-consistently. My clothes are starting to fit a little better. Like maybe even just half a month ago, I just still felt like my clothes were super awkward looking, and I was feeling a little bit discouraged like about body image, I guess, which that's usually not a problem for me, but just postpartum, your body changes so much. But I have been noticing like my clothes are starting to fit a little better around my middle. So that's really great. So I haven't gone out and like bought any new clothes yet. But the other thing about the mom pooch is that my stretch marks on my, like they were really around my belly button area. The stretch marks are starting to go away. I've been rubbing this yarrow essential oil and pomegranate oil combo from doTERRA onto the stretch marks, and I haven't even been super consistent, but I don't know if that's helping them fade or what, but they definitely are going away, so I'm very happy about that. As far as my incision goes, it's still very visible. There's a very small part, like maybe ½ an inch, where the scar has really faded. But other than that, you can still really see the scar. It's still kind of raised, especially on the right side, which had more trouble healing in the beginning. And it's still like a dark red. So I assume that's okay. Like I barely have any pain from it. Like if I really exert myself, maybe like when I did that workout, I felt just a little bit of achiness around the incision, but it doesn't give me problems. But it still is really visible, and I just feel like the cut is so big. It's like goes across almost my entire like lower abdomen. So I don't know, let me know in the comments below like what your scar looked like postpartum, like 3 months postpartum. I'm just really curious as to how other people's scars have healed. I have dealt with clogged ducts twice in the past month, and it seems to favor my left side. So I just try to get him to nurse a lot, you know, pump if I need to. And I'll link below this trick with castor oil compress that seemed to really help. And finally, I think the biggest piece of news for postpartum is that I started my first cycle. I can't believe it, and I know this is a little TMI, but I won't go deep into it, but I totally expected to go like at least a year without it, especially since I'm exclusively breastfeeding, but apparently not. I did start fertility charting like even before it came back because I wanted to catch that first ovulation. I used the Creighton method of fertility charting, which is the fertility awareness method that goes along with NAPRO technology. And it's, I keep saying that I need to do a video about NAPRO technology because it's the reason why I was able to get pregnant with him. So I also had what kind of felt like ovulation pain, like during that time that I think I was ovulating. and it made my incision area hurt, like inside. It only lasted a day or even less than a day, but it definitely felt like ovulation pain, but it was around the incision. So I really hope that I don't have like adhesions or bad scar tissue, because I was reading that could be a possibility, and you don't really know how bad your adhesions or scar tissue are unless like you go in laparoscopically. We'll see like next time I ovulate if I have pain because yeah, hopefully that's not a consistent thing. I didn't have that on a regular basis before getting pregnant, so we'll see. But yeah, I kind of can't believe that I've started cycling again. It was a week before he turned 3 months old. All right, so that is it for Max's 3-month update and my 4th trimester postpartum update. Just a little quick thing there, but we are both doing really well. He's being a little fussy right now. Like, he's usually not like this. Like I said in my 2-month update, he is a very mild-mannered baby. Like, he does not cry very much. He is very interactive. He's very happy. He always smiles at me when I go to get him up in the morning or from a nap. He smiles at Mark. He just loves interacting with Mark. It's really, really sweet. He's a good sleeper. Everything's really great. Like, no developmental issues. I'm pretty sure his eyes are gonna stay blue because they're very, very blue. And oh, that's the other thing I was gonna say. He does smile a lot, but whenever I pull up my camera, he gets really serious. He's kind of like our dog, where she just doesn't like getting her picture taken. And he always gets really serious when I pull up my phone and try to take a picture of him smiling. He's a wonderful little kid, and we love him so much, and just can't wait to see what this next month is gonna bring. I mean, we're already 1 week into his 4th month. So yeah, stay tuned for these updates, and thank you for stopping by my channel, and I hope to see you again. Stay safe, everyone. Stay healthy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Say bye. Bye, guys.